Good morning, Angelina. Good morning, Mom.
Morning.
Thanks for coming in this morning. Let's start with you, Angelina. Tell us, how old were you when you got sick, and what do you remember about how you felt?
Well, I was 2 when I got TB, and I remember the medicine.
Was it yucky?
Yes, it was bitter, and I remember the colour. It was red, and it had these red grains in it.
And how did you feel? Were you just yourself before you started taking the medicine?
It was very bitter, and I didn't like it. And it was daunting to know that I had to take it for half a year. I had to take it for 6 months. So I didn't want that, but I knew I would get better. So I took the medicine, and that's why I'm
like
better
a soldier.
now.
Like
Yes.
a soldier.
But I used to ask my mom for sweets after the medicine.
Yeah.
She'd always put a sweet aside for me because it was so bitter.
Oh, what a good mom she is. Mom, tell us about Angelina and that diagnosis at the age of 2.
Yes.
I mean, when did you realize that she wasn't well, that this is what it was?
Angelina has a primary immune deficiency, so she hadn't been well for quite some time before we realized that something else was wrong. But about 2 months before the diagnosis, she started having night sweats, fevers at night. She wasn't growing. She generally was just not very well at all. So we knew something was wrong. And we took her back to the pediatrician several times. But, excuse me, she, and they sent us to a cardiologist first, and then to test for cystic fibrosis. And then eventually they did a chest x-ray and noticed some features typical of TB, and then sent us for a blood test, and that's when we found out.
So tell us about your experience. I mean, you're in this book. Angelina's
that's
story
right.
is one of many kids' stories in this book, and you talk about the challenges and the stigma. Firstly, from the preschool. I mean,
Yes.
hopefully, I mean, you know, if it's just painful to recount.
No. So what happened was that when we found out we had TB, Angie was attending a creche, a preschool, and I went straight to the principal to tell her about the diagnosis. The thing is that in TB in children is not always infectious, and so Angie didn't pose any danger to other kids. She wasn't coughing. And the doctors assured us, and they gave us letters to that effect, that she wasn't going to be a danger to any other child. So I went to the headmistress and told her about the diagnosis. And she asked me not to tell anybody about it, not to tell any other parents, because she was worried that the other parents would take their children out the school.
Oh, is that the reason?
Yes,
Okay.
But I said to her that, you know, I'm not scared to answer their questions. They're welcome to call me, and I think it's important to be open and honest with everybody about.
Was that the
it.
only place that you faced, you know, sort of problems, stigma, discrimination, or was it family and friends as well? Did you find that, or that people generally understand?
No, I think we're fortunate to be part of a very supportive family and community of friends. But obviously, it was an opportunity to educate everybody about TB, and we tried to tell as many people as possible, so that, you know, their fears would be allayed, because obviously, you know, stigma comes out of fear. People not understanding the illness.
And very interesting. I mean, you speak about the private sector being ill-equipped to deal with this, and you would think, I mean, yes, traditionally we know it's seen as a poor man's disease. TB was in the past seen that way, and now we know everybody and anybody can get it.
Absolutely, and that's, I mean, I think that's one of our main messages, is that TB can happen to anybody, and it's not, you know, we shouldn't think that it's always going to happen to other people, or you know, that it can't happen to you.
Yeah.
It can happen to anybody.
And Angelina, I mean, do you remember being at school? Do you remember if people treated you differently at the time?
No one treated me differently.
And what would you say to other kids who are as little as you, who have TB, who are battling, wondering, do I want to take this medicine? You know, are people looking at me funny? What's your advice to them?
I'd say take your medicine, because then you'll get better and you can live the rest of your life. But you have to take your medicine first. And I know it's not nice, but you have to take your medicine.
And how are you feeling now? I mean, other than just having a cold at the moment.
I'm feeling great.
You're feeling great. And, I mean, was it a battle, Mum? I mean, did she understand what was happening around her at the time?
I don't think she understood too much. She was mostly just didn't want to take that medicine. It's really not very nice to give, and that's one of the things that we need to, that the global community is very aware of. Trying to improve treatments for children, because we haven't really made much progress in that area for many, many years. So we really need more funding for research on treatments for adults and children.
And a quick message from you to other parents of kids as little as Angelina, or even younger.
Well, I think I think do your best to give the treatment every day. That's really the best thing that you can do, and be brave. Tell other people about it, and try and break the stigma. Don't feel ashamed. There's absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. You don't have to hide it. Use your knowledge to break the stigma.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you, Janet. Thank you, Angelina, for coming on this morning. Despite being sick, I'm very, very grateful. Thank you so much.